You're looking to improve an existing playground or build a new one. You want to make it ADA compliant, wheelchair accessible, or all the above. In other words, all inclusive. The HC Playground in Peru, Indiana covers all those bases. Noah appreciates that for a couple reasons. He has both cerebral palsy and he's on the autism spectrum. Banal and her sister Nicole also love the Harvesting Capabilities Playground, where most of the barriers between play and physical limitations have been eliminated.
What this park does, it enables children with disabilities and special needs to play with other children. And it enables other children to play with special needs kids.
It's very family friendly and accessible because it can include anybody and everybody, and it does.
In this video, we explain what makes playgrounds ADA compliant, wheelchair accessible, and what makes them inclusive. Additionally, we're showing you what makes them accessible and comfortable for all children and adults, special needs or not. You'll want to consider this as you plan, budget, and maybe do fundraising. First, a few definitions and distinctions. The Department of Justice passed the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, in 2010. Any playground with public access, whether it's publicly or privately built, must be accessible to all. The disabled must be able to get to the playground and have access to equipment. However, while it means they can get there, it does not guarantee a person can ride the equipment. So ADA compliance does dictate access to the playground and to so much equipment, but it does not necessarily dictate ramps and surfacing. We'll get to those topics.
What makes a structure ADA compliant is to have an equal amount, or it's actually a ratio of equipment or play on the top of the structure versus the bottom of the structure. So it's not exactly 1-in-1, but if you have 7 features on the top, if you have climbers and slides and things like that on the top, then you need to have the proper ratio of play equipment or features at the bottom of the structures.
A compliant playground would have ground level features like play panels and musical instruments. Traditional swings may be joined by ADA compliant swings like this gin swing. Let's keep moving to wheelchair accessible play. While ADA compliant playgrounds keep the physically disabled in mind, accessible structures are made specifically for them. This wheelchair accessible swing at HC Park is just that, truly wheelchair accessible. Banal can get on, ride it, and exit the swing.
Do you want a structure that has the wheelchair ramps and the access for wheelchairs or walkers to go up through the structures, or are you just looking for maybe a more minor change where you could hang a wheelchair accessible swing or an ADA compliant swing so that a child could be placed in the swing with a harness?
Here at HC Park, the ramps to the upper level make the entire playground wheelchair accessible. And what makes the playground even more accessible? Surfacing is a big part of that. More on that in a moment. As you plan your play area, it's important to consider that typically, the more accessible the playground, the more features it has, and the more it can cost. Despite his physical limitations, Noah can move a mile a minute, make that 2 miles a minute, both on the ground and the upper level. HC Park has truly ramped it up. It's inclusive, everybody can play, and everybody can play together.
They've created an all-inclusive place where everybody can play. And I think it's really important that kids of all walks of life play together and learn from each other.
While the playground pieces are a big part of that, it's the surfacing, called poured in place, that opens up a whole new world of access and mobility.
There's all kinds of surface, and the only thing that's really truly accessible is this poured rubber surface. The surface was probably the biggest expense too, and as we raised more money, we got to enlarge the surface, which was nice, so we got it to be a little bigger than originally envisioned.
What the poured rubber provides is access so that these kids can wheel around and move around the playground and be running, you know, like right now there's kids running and chasing each other. They can be in the middle of that.
So if you expect your playground will be used by a number of people with walkers and wheelchairs, you may want to consider a more supportive surfacing. Now, let's look at other features that make HC Park compliant, accessible, and inclusive. Nicole shows how this merry-go-round covers all those bases. It's compliant, everyone can get to it, it's accessible by wheelchair, and it's all-inclusive. Everyone can ride and enjoy together. This encourages play and socialization. There's access to the merry-go-round, access onto it, opportunities for play inside, and access off the merry-go-round.
Everything has lower levels and the ramps to the slides, and the pavement is flat and smooth, so that helps a lot.
Even the Teeter Totter is inclusive. Again, almost anyone can use it. There's nothing stopping Nicole here. These types of experiences and opportunities are not even imaginable on other more traditional playgrounds. And consider playground furniture and accessories, like benches and tables. Have a seat, relax, take a load off, and stay a while.
The shades are a big deal, having some benches and places to sit.
Side amenities like tables, benches, or trash receptacles are usually made of recycled plastic or coated metal, like this. They are small touches that can encourage everyone to stay a little longer, play a little longer.
We've never had something like this before, but I'm not sure if it was ever considered.
Having this ADA table that we're sitting at where a child can wheel up with his wheelchair or an adult and sit with the rest of the family and have a snack and watch everybody play. And it's just really nice that they've thought of everything.
Someone that might be wheelchair bound might want to join in, and it might be hard for them to transfer the scoot, like roll under the chair or table, I mean.
And for Banal, it's easy to roll up, relax, without a second thought.
We've got the shelter here where their parents can just sit and enjoy and, you know, watch their families be able to actually play together and have fun.
And I think having little pockets of areas in your design is very important. A lot of kids, you know, will be able to come out here because there's poured rubber, but there's also a little bit of grass accessibility so they can take their shoes off and they can walk in the grass and sit in the grass. It sounds like a simple thing, but sometimes they don't have that access at home or where they, you know, are at school. They may not have the ability to have a picnic in the grass. And to be right next to a nice shade, you know, feature and have some shade throughout the day that will change a little bit out here and a place to cool off will make it so much nicer for the whole family. They'll stay out here and play a little bit longer.
Not every special need is physical. Consider Poseidon's Hideout.
What do you think about this playground?
Good.
What's your favorite part of the playground?
Everything.
Everything is your favorite part? Okay. All right.
As we've learned, Noah has a couple boundaries. First, his CP. Physical activity and surgeries will help him leap over those bounds. He's also on the autism spectrum. The structure helps him clear that hurdle as well. Poseidon's Hideout is a climbing structure on the outside and a safe and restorative place inside.
Very therapeutic for him. That's why he was laying on the rubber underneath of it, and on the outside it was smooth and it's soothing to him. Because he has autism spectrum, he's got sensory processing disorder. Being quiet and dark, it helps him calm himself, because with all the people that are here, he is, his anxiety is really high and he sweats, and he can get away in there and calm himself, so he's able to come back out and play more and be around people a little bit better.
We call it a little jewel. You know, it's a little jewel in the crown of playgrounds around. Nobody has a park like this in our area. So that was the goal. Thank you.
Woo! Compliant, accessible, and inclusive. For more information on what we just covered, be sure to visit our website at AAAStateofPlay.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more helpful videos.